Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Quick update. This is kind of breaking news. It is breaking news. This has happened yesterday, today. There's been a sniper who killed an Israeli soldier on the Gaza border, apparently. This has triggered about 60 strikes into Gaza by Israeli aircraft, and it's a significant escalation in the things going on. So as an update for the general war and stuff going on there, here is an article from Debka.com where they're reporting on this. Israeli soldier killed by Hamas sniper, massive IDF airstrikes over Gaza continue. Snipers used for the first time by Hamas killed an Israeli soldier in crossfire from Gaza on Friday, July 20th. Massive IDF strikes were launched forthwith and are still ongoing, cutting short 3 months of constant Hamas assaults. Initial IDF communiques on the Israeli operation referred only to a grave security incident. So this is definitely breaking news. So as of Saturday, today, this is still happening. Well, exactly a week ago, the IDF pounded Hamas targets after a major was injured in a Hamas attack. A Palestinian terrorist group retaliated by firing 200 rockets and 155mm artillery shells in 24 hours against Israeli communities, bringing to 500 the total since May. The sudden appearance of snipers, this is interesting. I'm kind of surprised that they're not hadn't used snipers before, because that would be a pretty effective way to kill the IDF, although I think Gazans and the terrorists were generally going after the public, because in the papers and in terms of the eyes of the world, you go after a civilian and that gets that's bigger news basically. But it says here, I just lost the spot. Let's see. Where is this? Kite 500 said the sudden appearance of snipers after 3 months of Hamas rockets, violent disturbances, infiltrations, and kite balloon arson attacks gave Israel's strategists pause. They hadn't really planned for this. This form of attack calls for specialist training and precise intelligence. So the question is, where are they getting the sniper rifles? Where are they getting the training and the intelligence? The IDF fighter jets and tanks conducted wide attacks across the Gaza Strip, hitting at least 8 Hamas observation posts along the border. My question is, when does Israel get, basically get upset with this and say that's enough? We're gonna go and effectively invade and put our army in there like they did before. I forget how many years ago it was now, but they owned all that land. They had the military basically ruling that area, and there was peace while they were ruling it. Now there were protests and etc., but there was a lot more security, I think, than there is now. Now they can get all sorts of rockets and weapons in to Gaza, which they then just lob over the non-existent border, basically, in large parts, at Israel and the civilians of Israel. Well, IDF launches deep airstrikes in Gaza Strip as Palestinian fire stokes talk of fourth Gaza war. This is now the mbegins.com. The IAF launched a major wave of strikes across the Gaza Strip Friday evening. As a cabinet minister said, Israel was preparing a massive response to Hamas's failure to heed repeated Israeli warnings to end the violence in the Gaza border. This evening in the Middle East, Palestinian snipers began firing across the border at IDF soldiers. Israel responded with a deadly barrage of airstrikes deep inside Gaza. So, incredible things. This is jewsnews.co.il. Another reporting on it. Residents in southern Israel warned to stay near shelters. Is war coming? This is from yesterday, Friday, 2018. The IAF struck terror targets across the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. Residents of southern Israel's Sodot Negev Regional Council have been warned to remain close to protected areas following the airstrikes. They're expecting basically rockets to come. Early Friday, hundreds of Palestinians demonstrated along the border fence in another week of protests against a blockade of the coastal enclave. The official Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that at least 5 Palestinians were injured by live bullets. So a pretty incredible situation happening here. And again, when does Israel get fed up and say, that's it, we're going to go and fulfill Psalm 83 effectively? Maybe they wouldn't say we're going to fulfill Psalm 83, but they would say, we're fed up, we're going to go and take care of this issue once and for all and completely annihilate, any of the weapons targets that they have in terms of intelligence. And they're striking back hard. They're taking aircraft against these terrorists who are lobbing rockets in there. There's no doubt about it. I mean, in terms of proportionality, that's what the world news agencies say. Where's the proportional response? Well, how long do you do a proportional response? Is it just tit for tat every time? So if Hamas launches a rocket, you launch a rocket over in the same direction. Do you just do that forever? When, as a peaceful democratic country, do you say, that's it, we're going to go and protect our citizens and we're going to do some damage because strength and damage is the only thing that the terrorists understand? Well, incredible stuff. There's also news about stuff going on in Syria. Syria is striking ISIS targets right on the Golan border. All sorts of stuff happening here. Syrian regime pounds ISIS near Golan Heights. So very, very close military in terms of being close to Israel. So they can launch an attack at Israel at any point now. And then, of course, we got Russia and Iran in there as well. And all sorts of stuff just happening. And again, when does this spin out of control? When does the tinderbox go up in terms of the Middle East? When do the massive biblical wars break out? I think we're getting very, very close. Like I've said before, I've said it in many videos, I think there's going to be a major war, not just a tit for tat, not just a little strike here or there, or even a large strike here or there. I think there's going to be a major war breakout in the Middle East. Israel against one of its neighbors. You're looking at Psalm 83 war, the inner circle of nations being taken out, Isaiah 17, which is the lead up or part and parcel of Ezekiel 38. You see all the nations gathered in terms of Ezekiel 38 together to strike Israel. All the pieces of the puzzle are at the ready. The stage is set. They're all ready. They're just waiting on the timeline, effectively, that God is in a way orchestrating. He has a particular timeline in mind. Everything happens according to his will in the perfect time. And I think part of that timing is that Western powers are taken out of the picture so that they cannot respond or back up Israel when Gog Magog, invades Israel, because God has it planned that he's going to show his power during that period of time. So Western nations have to be out of the picture. How does that happen? Well, I'm going to try and do a timeline video tonight. I'm going to try and get it done. I got to get it done and give you guys the overview of my understanding of the biblical timeline in the last days that we're in the last hours that we're in. I think we have less than 10 years ago before the 7-year tribulation. Before the second return of the Lord. I think we have less than 3 years to go before the 7-year tribulation starts, which means at any moment now we could have an economic collapse. We could have World War III effectively. And this all leads into, quite rapidly, into the world government, the setup of the Antichrist, the setup of the mark of the beast system, etc. And so all these Bible prophecies, I think they probably all likely happen in very close order, very quick succession. And I think we'll all be amazed. We'll just be awestruck at the speed at which this comes. We won't have time to even breathe. It'll just come down on us so quickly. And I think an economic collapse is kind of the answer for where the Western nations are in Bible prophecy. So whatever happens in Israel is a timeline. It's a milestone. It's an event that says, this seems to be leading to these prophetic wars that are prophesied to come. And then you read between the lines and you say, well, these prophetic wars exist, but where is this world superpower? If these wars are so close, if they look like they're going to happen at any moment, where is the current world superpower, the United States? So you got to ask these questions and read between the lines and say, well, maybe something took them out. Now, people say in Ezekiel 38 that they're mentioned as the young lions of Tarshish, saying, have you come to take a spoil to Gog Magog? Have you invaded the land of unwalled villages to take a spoil? And like I say, many consider that the young lions of Tarshish making those statements, but not actually helping Israel, to be Western nations, i.e., or even specifically the United States. And I think they don't come to the rescue because they're unwilling, they're unable, or both. Maybe they don't have the political appetite. Maybe maybe there's a new president in charge. Maybe it's not Trump. I would expect Trump would actually support Israel quite strongly if there was any way, shape, or form possible. And that may be a timeline. You got to look at these things and say, what would this person do if he supports Israel? Then maybe this stuff doesn't happen until he's out of his presidency. On the other hand, if there's an economic collapse, he may want to support Israel, but he can't. So, I mean, it could happen either way. No matter whether the president is for or against Israel, circumstances could transpire to make the choice for him. And I think that's all orchestrated effectively by God. God has a timeline. These things are going to occur. They're going to occur according to his timeline and how he wills. And I think we're close. I think we can start looking at these things and saying, this is what makes sense. This is how it could easily play out at any moment now. Well, guys, I'll leave it there. I'm going to try and do my best to get the timeline video, even if it's short, up tonight so that you can watch it tomorrow. But incredible events happening. And I'm leaving out 90% of the articles, on raptureready.com, etc., about abortion, about persecution of Christians, about people getting fired from their jobs because they're Christians or because they believe in the Bible, they believe in creation, all sorts of incredible things happening in this world that we aren't even aware of. And these are actually happening in North America too, not just around on the other side of the planet. So incredible things, persecution of Christians, especially outside of North America, and it's increasing in North America. And all these things tell us that we're in the last days, and I think we're in the very last minutes of the last days, maybe in the last seconds of the last minutes of the last days of this world. Guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the timeline of the return of the Lord. I'm definitely going to try and get that one out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.